Hey guys, what's going on? So Eden just ended, at least in states 1 up to 900. I'm going to be talking about the pools right here. X Legendary Recruitment 3, 2, 1. Which ones have the best heroes, which ones you guys should go for, and then I'm going to go for them on my own account here. We'll see what heroes I get, see how lucky or unlucky I get. If we get, 5 Patriots or whatever, we'll see. Stay tuned. Okay, so like I said in the intro, guys, I'm going to be first talking about these pools, which kind of pool you are going to want to pull, what heroes are in these pools, etc. So I'm going to start off on X Legendary Recruitment 3, and then we'll go to 2, and then we'll go to 1. So in X Legendary Recruitment Pool 3, we have Wrath, Predator, Shadow, Glutton, Cannon, Lone Wolf, Heaven's Redemption, Hunk, and the Patriot. Now, I'll just quickly go over these heroes, kind of what I rate them, because there's too many heroes now in Season X, so I'm going to kind of rapid fire through them. If you have deeper questions on these guys, I've probably covered them in other recruitment videos. But if you have deeper questions on these heroes, like, okay, why did you rate it this or whatever, please just let me know in the comments and I can respond there. Or I'll know a bunch of people are saying, why did you say this? And then I can do some more videos talking about why I'm rating these this way. So in any case, Wrath, really good hero. He's been affected by no Hopeness Lab, and he still is not in the Hopeness Lab. It's August. He didn't come in August. Maybe he'll come in September. Who knows? Currently, Wrath is a little bit weaker. He kind of still falls into the same lineup as Tech Priestess. So Tech Priestess Wrath is kind of the married couple here. I'm overall, out of 5 is how my new hero scales go, because there's just 500 billion Season X heroes, so 4 is a little bit too small. I'm actually only going to give Wrath probably a 3. The reason is just because he's not in the Hopeness Lab yet. Once he comes in there, I think he'll be a little bit better. He'll have more stats, obviously, but also some of the advanced abilities are going to work really well with Wrath, and so he'll be able to perform better. Right now, he's kind of a 3. Potentially, we'll see if the Hopeness Lab really steps him up a notch. But kind of Scorpion has really disheveled Wrath. If you rate him as a 4 out of 5, that's totally fine. If you have him on your base, you're probably going to use him still, but he's not going to be in like your top 3 or maybe even not your top 4 APCs. He currently isn't in mine. Next up, we have Predator. Predator's pretty strong. Anna, Predator, Huntress is still a fantastic combo. Hunk, Predator, Nomad still works fairly well. However, there are just a little bit better combos currently in the current meta than those combos that I just said. So Predator basically needs to go with either of those 2 heroes, Huntress or Nomad, if you're kind of at the top echelons, I guess, of battles. So, but those, unless those heroes are free for you to use with Predator, she kind of gets a little bit worse. I'm still going to say Anna, Predator, Huntress is still really good, especially if people are putting Scorpion in the back, then it's fantastic, but a lot of people are just countering Huntress, or the Anna, Predator, Huntress combo rather, by putting a tank in the back, and so it goes a little bit worse. Still, I'm going to give Predator a solid 4. She's in the Hopeness Lab, so you can get all those stats, and she's still pretty damn good. Sometimes I actually don't use her, though. I'll use something like Kamikaze Huntress Anna, for example, to really counter Scorpion. But I think we'll sort of have a cat and mouse game of, does Huntress go in the middle? So if Huntress is always in the middle, I'm going to put my Scorpion in the back. If Huntress is always in the back, I'm going to put my Scorpion in the middle. And we'll just kind of flip-flop those for at least the near future. Next up, we have Shadow. Shadow's pretty weak. He's been weak for quite some time. They've tried to buff him many times. He's not too useful. You can use him with Scorpion, so it does kind of increase his stock value, but overall, he's not a very amazing hero. I'm going to give him kind of a 2, just a solid 2. If you get him, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can still use him, and you probably should use him if you don't have other replacements, but overall, not amazing. As far as the combos that Shadow is going to go, he's going to be paired up with Nomad for the most part, or like I said, Scorpion. It works decent if you put Shadow in the back, for example. Next up, we have Glutton. So Glutton, he's kind of just one of those cases where people sort of just do his job a little bit better. Glutton's really useful with Hummingbird, and that's kind of it at the moment. So you can still go Glutton X Bird, like Glutton TP Bird, Glutton Caesar Bird, Glutton Cannon Bird, whatever. Then that combo's still solid. oftentimes run that in my defense queue, but at this point, there's probably just going to be more heroes, and he's going to continue to kind of, fall down the wayside. I'm going to overall give him a 2, honestly. He's not very good. Like I said, he's really only useful for Bird to kind of give Bird that extra edge, but at the moment, Bird just is weaker than a lot of other carry heroes. So, Glutton, unfortunately, my man, you're kind of a 2 right now. Next up, we have Canoness. So Canoness is solid, very, very, very solid right now, and she's been solid for a bit. She pairs really well with Scorpion, so you can do something like Heaven's Redemption, Scorpion Cannon. That combo works really well. That's sort of it, though. Unfortunately, that's kind of it. You can run like Scarlet Scorpion Cannon as well. That's okay. It's not going to be as good, but it still works out fairly well. Canoness does fare well against Huntress, which is a big plus for her. Usually she can survive the Huntress burst. And obviously she's going to work well against Nomad, who's really top tier. She's okay against Death Rider. Death Rider's still going to do pretty mean things to Cannon. And then, of course, Scorpion kind of also counters Cannon a little bit. He reduces her heals basically to nothing, and he can slowly kind of just whittle her down and kill her. So overall, Cannon, I mean, it's hard to say, but Cannon's kind of like a 3. I don't often use Cannon, honestly, unless I'm using Heaven's Redemption, Scorpion, Cannon, that exact combo. I'm not often using Canoness. You can do something like, TP Cannon, Bird. You can still do a lot of the old combos with Cannon. They're okay. But again, she's kind of just outshined because the APCs and the meta has sort of transitioned a little bit away from her. Next up, we have Lone Wolf. Easy. A 1. You're not going to use her pretty much if you have like any other better heroes. Overall, she's a 1. You don't really want to pull her. Heaven's Redemption is a fantastic hero right now. Solid 4. He has a lot of combos that he can go with. He works really, really well with basically all of the meta heroes. So he works really well with Scorpion. He works really well with Death Rider. He works well with pretty much any vehicle hero, honestly. He can work with Huntress. So he kind of just fits into everything. If we had 2 Heaven's Redemptions, I would be using 2 Heaven's Redemptions. So that's how good he is. But I'm not going to give him that 5 because that 5 is kind of going to be a little bit exclusive for the heroes that you need or you're going to bleed. So overall, Heaven's Redemption, really, really solid 4. If you get him in this pool and you need him, you'll be happy for sure. And you will use him, period. Next, we have Hunk. Hunk has definitely fallen way down. He was like a 1. And then when it was the Hunk Predator Nomad meta, he went very high up. Now he's pretty much fallen completely down. Hunk Predator Nomad is very rarely used. Some people still use it, but it's kind of a relic of the past. It's not great, and there are just sort of better combinations. So overall, I'm honestly probably just going to give Hunk a 2. You can still use that combo. Like I said, that's basically it. And if you just have some other combos that you can play with, using Nomad, for example, you can use like Anna Nomad Valk, or rather Valk Nomad Anna. There's really no reason to use Hunk. So overall, low 2. Next up, we have Patriot. Patriot, clear 1. There is 0 combo you can use him in. You can use him to tile, but it's just worse than most of the other. Like, it's worse than the Ivan combos. It's worse now than the Snowy combos as well. So Patriot, there's kind of just no use for him at all. A 1. So overall, Legendary Recruitment 3, pretty weak pool. I'm going to be honest. Wrath used to be literally like the best hero in the game. He's fallen pretty significantly. His fall from grace has been pretty significant. 1 is the Hopeness Lab, but 2, also the meta is shifting away from kind of Tech Priestess in particular, and that really ends up hurting Wrath. The only hero in here that I would say like you really, really want or really need is Heaven's Redemption. Predator and Canoness are nice additions, and then Wrath is very good as well. But overall, there's nobody in here that I would really be like, you need to go for this hero. You need this pool. You can survive without Heaven's Redemption. You can survive without Wrath. You can survive without Canoness. So let's move to Legendary Recruitment 2. Legendary Recruitment 2, we have Prophet, Huntress, Scarlet, Rose, Koshé, Death Rider, Iron Sentinel, Crusher, and Valkyrie. So this pool automatically, already screams that it's much, much better. We'll do the same exact thing here. So Prophet, right now Prophet's a little bit kind of in limbo, as she's sort of been since release, honestly. She kind of doesn't really fit like a super normal role, but she's kind of always flirting with the idea of being like good enough. That's basically where she is currently as well. I don't run profit on my base. Not many people run profit. I almost never see people running profit, and the reason is just there's kind of better heroes. So you can still run profit with Scorpion if you have it, but again, there's just better heroes you can use. There's not really a meta APC with profit. You guys will notice I mentioned Scorpion a ton throughout this video. That's basically because the entire meta, more or less, the entire meta is revolving around Scorpion. And so everybody kind of, it's like, how good are they against Scorpion, or how good are they with Scorpion? That's honestly how the meta currently is shaping up. It's like Scorpion, Nomad, Death Rider, Huntress. Those 4 heroes, you basically are just building all your APCs around those 4 heroes, either on attack or defense. So that's kind of how it is right now. Great segue into Huntress. So Huntress, like I just mentioned, is kind of one of those 4 pillars of the meta currently. You need Huntress basically, or your base is either squishy or you're going to have a harder time getting through defenses. So Huntress is a really good way to get through Scorpions, which is why you kind of want Huntress. I'm not actually going to say that like you need her. You can get through Scorpion other ways if you're on equal footing. So if you're as strong as another base and they're using like Scarlet, Scorpion, Snowy, for example, you can get through with Huntress very, very easily. If you don't have Huntress, there are still other ways to get through it. But if you're a lot weaker than somebody with Scorpion, it's a lot harder to get through those combos if you don't have Huntress. So that's the distinction. People are going to say, oh, there's all these other combos that can get through Scorpion. And it's like, yes, only if you're kind of at that same level or stronger. If you're weaker, you're going to want Huntress. Basically, what it comes down to is match up Huntress with the enemy Scorpion, and you'll do okay. So like I said before, Kamikaze, Huntress, Ana. If Scorpion is in the middle, the enemy Scorpion's in the middle, you want to do Kamikaze, Huntress, Ana. If the enemy Scorpion's in the back, you do Ana, Predator, Huntress, and you'll be good to go. Those are kind of the only 2 combos with Huntress, though, so if you don't have those other heroes, you'll struggle a little bit. So anyway, Huntress, really, really good. I'm actually just going to leave her at a 4 currently, though, but it's a pretty high 4. So now we come up to Scarlet Siren. Scarlet Siren's in an interesting position because she basically has 1 APC and that's it. But it's a fantastic APC, so it boosts her stock value. The APC, I'm sure you guys have seen it run rampant through Eden. It's Scarlet Siren, Scorpion, Snowy, and I've mentioned it about a million times. It's very, very good, and it makes Scarlet Siren very, very good. I'm going to give her a 4, which is very high considering she only has 1 APC, but that APC is good enough to warrant that 4, and generally you're probably going to be using Scarlet Siren. You can, however, get away with not having Scarlet Siren. You could do something like Heaven's Scorpion Cannon, or you can do, there's so many combos with Scorpion, I'm not really going to get into it, but you can survive without Scarlet, so it's kind of a low 4. I wouldn't care if you said it's a 3. Next up, we have Rose. Rose is just bad. Rose is just a bad hero. She's just very weak. Even at what she does, she's just weaker than other heroes, and what she doesn't do, other heroes do. So Rose is just overall a bad hero. 2. A low 2. Next up, we have Koshé. Koshay's in an interesting space. He pairs up pretty well with Nomad. That's kind of about it. I don't know. I don't use Koshé. Not too many do use Koshé, but again, you can do like a full shooter combo with Nomad, with Koshé, or like Koshé Ana Nomad, and it's fine. It's not terrible. Koshé Nomad Ana is going to do pretty well. You're not going to get destroyed by Huntress, and you can end up actually beating those combos. So Koshé's overall like okay. Low 3, high 2. Death Rider. Now Death Rider, my favorite hero in the game, my boy Death Rider. He is literally one of the 2 best heroes in the game currently, in my personal opinion. One of those kind of 4 carry pillars that I was mentioning earlier. Death Rider is probably the 2nd best hero in the game, or 1st best, and he's always been at the very, very top. He will continue to be at the very, very top. We kind of had a riot in the game, mainly focused around Death Rider, honestly. Tactical Might wasn't affecting him. Now it does. And he was still fantastic, mind you, when Tactical Might hadn't been affecting him for at least several months. He was still amazing. Now that Tactical Might does affect him, he's just even better. He's just a fantastic hero. If you don't have Death Rider, he's one of those heroes who it's like, honestly, if you could go for this pool, if you had none of these heroes and you didn't want any of these heroes except for Death Rider, the pool, going for this pool is still worth it. That's how amazing he is. So obviously, a 5. Next up, we have Iron Sentinel. Iron Sentinel's pretty damn weak, and he's always been pretty weak. He's never really been a meta hero. You can, again, use him with Scorpion. It's okay, but there are just better options. Iron Sentinel's a low, too. Next up, we have Crusher. Again, Crusher's always kind of been a little bit weak. He's like always like a good, like weird off-meta vehicle, kind of bootleg kamikaze, but yeah, he's just weaker, like in general, and you don't really need kamikaze in most combos, and you certainly aren't going to need Crusher in any combo. But you can kind of just replace him with kamikaze. Like Crusher, Huntress, Anna isn't terrible. I'll be honest, it's not terrible. It's still going to perform. It still will kill Scorpion, so you can still use it. Honestly, you can use Crusher with Scorpion. AJ from State 518 or NYC guy from YouTube, he actually uses Crusher sometimes on his Scorpion, and it works pretty well. So you can just do like Crusher, Scorpion, Heaven's Redemption, or Cannon, or anything like that. And it will work. It has decent results, honestly. And you're able to, kind of use some of the other heroes that you would have been using with Scorpion in other combos. So overall, Crusher a 2. Maybe high 2, maybe low 3. But overall, I'm going to give him a 2. And then we have Valkyrie. Valkyrie's actually in a pretty good spot right now. I like the spot that Valkyrie is in. She's not needed by any means, but if you have her, you're going to use her. Probably, maybe, if you can fit her in your combos. Basically, the combo for Valkyrie, 1, she's decent for tiling. 2, the combo is Valkyrie, Nomad, Anna. Very good combo. It's been going around for several months now. People have been using it for several months. I talk about it more kind of detailed when I'm talking about Nomad as well. Overall, Valkyrie, I would say solid 3. I just kind of like the position that she's in. She's useful. She's not overpowered. She's not underpowered. She just kind of, she fits. So, overall Recruitment 2, you have Huntress, you have Siren, you have Death Rider. Those are basically the heroes that you want out of this pool. Koshé, Valkyrie, Crusher are all like decent. Prophet's almost there. Sentinel's almost there. And then Rose is kind of down here. But like none of these heroes are terrible, terrible, terrible. Overall, so far, way better than 3. If you have Death Rider, if you have Huntress, if you have Scarlet Siren, then obviously don't go for this pool. But otherwise, if you're missing kind of those heroes, especially Death Rider or Huntress, then this pool is a pretty decent option. And now that leaves us with X Legend Recruitment 1. X Legend Recruitment 1 has Scorpion, Dawn, Lust, Retrograder, Organic, Kamikaze, Nomad, Betrayed Sven, and the Wanderer. The first thing to mention about this pool before I get into the heroes, you might notice that pool actually has 1 extra hero. So there's 10 heroes in X Legend Recruitment 1. There are 9 heroes in 2, and there are 9 heroes in 3. So that is definitely something to consider. It's going to make the likelihood that you get the hero that you want in this pool a lot lower. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about these heroes. First up is Scorpion. I've mentioned him probably at least 500,000 times. Maybe if you want, you can go through and count how many times I've said Scorpion. If you get the right number, I'll give you a high 5. Anyway, Scorpion is the best hero in the game, period. It's like him and Death Rider are the top 2, and Scorpion is certainly above him. He's just kind of the unheralded best hero in the game. If you do not have Scorpion, you are going to be significantly weaker. And if you do have Scorpion and you don't have literally if you have Scorpion and like a few other heroes that you can piece together, you're going to be strong enough to really do anything. You can attack with Scorpion, you can defend with Scorpion, you can reinforce with Scorpion. Like, it's just, you need Scorpion, period. You're not going to literally die if you don't have him. If you have every other hero in the game, you will survive. You can make APCs to beat Scorpion, so you're not just instantly dead. But he's just such a good hero that you certainly want him. So, obviously, 5, 6, 6 out of 5. Anyway, next up we have Dawn. So Dawn's the second hero in this newest pool, along with Scorpion. Dawn's solid for sure. She's not overpowered. She's not underpowered. She has a lot of versatility. I kind of deep dive Dawn, and I deep dive Scorpion as well on my channel. So just go onto my channel and you can see those videos. Overall, I mean, you can use Dawn with Scorpion, which makes it just amazing that these two heroes are together in a pool, because you can just load them up together and it's great. You can use Dawn with some carries. For the most part, she's basically used with Scorpion, or she's kind of fizzled out. So you can use Dawn with like Death Rider as well, or even Huntress, or even Nomad, or so-and-so. So overall, Dawn, I would say kind of, I'm going to give her a 4. She also performs really, really well on tiles against poison. So if you're anything under like 50% poison, you actually are going to want to be using Dawn to take those tiles, and you're going to take it really, really quickly. So that's a big benefit to Dawn. Next up, we have Lust. So Lust was kind of the baby Tech Priestess killer. She did the job, but you sort of had to play around it, and you kind of had to build an APC basically just to kill Tech Priestess. Now that Scorpion is out, Scorpion is literally a Tech Priestess killer. He just kind of destroys everything that Tech Priestess does. Like, Tech Priestess existed up here, and then Scorpion just came crash landing and just absolutely obliterated her, and now she's kind of just thrown into the dungeon or whatever. So Lust, obviously that just makes her weaker. The main purpose of Lust was to counter Tech Priestess, and now you just have a counter that's 10 times better. So what purpose does Lust give now? Basically none. But again, if you don't have Scorpion, you're going to want to use Lust against Tech Priestess. So she still has her role, especially if you don't have Scorpion, like I said. And especially if people are still using Tech Priestess Wrath, which they do, mind you. So Lust overall, I'm going to say a solid 3, low 4, high 3. Either way, you flip it. It depends kind of if you need Lust. If you don't have Scorpion, she's a 4. If you have Scorpion, she's a 3 kind of situation here. So it sort of depends. Overall, not a hero that I'm going to be like, go, 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 get her, get her, get her. Then we have Retrograder. Unfortunately, so one of the problems with Retrograder is he's not in the Hopeness Lab. And I mean, this theme is pretty consistent. Heroes that aren't in the Hopeness Lab are significantly weaker than heroes that are in the Hopeness Lab. Even if that hero might be technically better than another hero, like, it still puts him at a very big disadvantage. So, for example, Wrath isn't in the Hopeness Lab. Heaven's Redemption is in the Hopeness Lab. You could say they might be equal or something, but Heaven's Redemption is better. He is in the Hopeness Lab. So anyway, Retrograder, not in the Hopeness Lab, puts him down. Well, that's the short version. However, he's still used basically by every maxed base in the game in one particular combo. Heaven's Redemption, Death Rider, Retrograder. Very, very strong, super strong combo. You're probably going to use it if you can. If you have Death Rider, if you have Retrograder, for example. So overall, Retrograder, I'm going to give him a solid 4, honestly. I think that combo is good enough to warrant Retrograder as a 4. And you can use him in other combos. You still can use him in other combos. They're just not going to be as good. So it's not like if you don't have that combo, he's useless. Next up, we have Organic. Organic, yeah, he's okay. Heaven's Redemption, Organic, Death Rider is still a good combo, especially if you don't have Retrograder, but it's kind of just worse. And once Retrograder goes into the Hopeness Lab, hopefully next month, so in like 2 weeks plus, then Organic's really just going to be worse. Period, he'll just be worse than Retrograder. Or like his function will just be less than Retrograder. You can still use Organic with someone like Scorpion. You can use it with like Caesar and stuff for that extra CC turn. So Scorpion, for example, does suppress. You can use that with Scorpion again. But, I mean, there are just better options. Overall, Organic, decent 3. You can definitely use them with some high tier combos. But there are just higher tier combos at everything that he does. So overall, a 3. Next up, we have Kamikaze. Kamikaze is a great hero who actually, not unfortunately, he just got put into the Hopeness Lab, so never mind. He is now in the Hopeness Lab, so he's even better. But before that, he was still fine. Kamikaze, like I said before, you can use him again with full vehicles. Kamikaze is totally fine with full vehicles. You could do like Kami, Wrath, Death Rider, VVV. It's going to be really good, and it can still actually beat some Scorpion combos. But what I usually run Kamikaze for is Kamikaze Huntress Anna, and that definitely destroys Scorpion combos. So overall, Kamikaze pretty solid. You can still use Kamikaze with something like Cannon S as well, and even with Snowy, and it's totally fine. You're not going to use Kamikaze with Scorpion. He just like doesn't do combat skills. But overall, really good hero. I'm just going to give him a 4, just flat out 4. So the Nomad has kind of had a little bit of a roller coaster up and down over the past few seasons. He went from being amazing to amazing to and now back almost to amazing. He is one of the 4 carry pillars, like I mentioned. One of the guys that you kind of need on your base. You need at least one of those carries on your base, or you're not really going to be able to get through anything. So Nomad is in fact one of those. However, he's definitely worse than Scorpion in terms of shooters, and he's worse than Death Rider, but he has his role to play. The combo is Valkyrie, Nomad, Anna. It does really, really well because of 2 reasons. One, it basically kills the front row hero immediately, so it's going to be a 3 versus 2, like right away, basically. Well, if they're a vehicle hero, for example. It'll do that almost immediately. It can kill Heaven's Redemption in like Heaven's Death Rider Retro, kill him right away. It can. It won't always, but it can. It can also do that in someone like in a combo like Heaven's Redemption, Scorpion, Cannon S, for example, and then you're actually just going to win. So overall, it's really, really strong. It can beat vehicle, which is very, very prominent. People are using Ivan basically to counter Scorpion. Nomad can just kill those combos fairly easily, fairly handedly, and it can go with a few other combos. Like I said, you can still use Nomad with Predator. It's going to be fine. But Huntress, honestly, kind of just does it a little bit better than Nomad, honestly. Huntress is faster. She's a vehicle hero, so she's probably just going to kill Nomad before Nomad can kill the opposing Anastasia. If Nomad locked on to Huntress, maybe it'd be a different discussion, but that's not the case. Nomad is going to attack the front row hero, while Huntress is just going to beat the crap out of Nomad. So anyway, Nomad, really, really solid 4. If you have him, you're probably going to use him currently. I am currently using him. Next up, we have the Betrayed. So the Betrayed is always kind of a hero that's just so much potential for this hero, and yet so much wasted potential. Truly, truly wasted potential. I really like his kit, but a lot of it is just kind of weak. I'm not going to dive into the Betrayed too much because nobody really uses him. There's really no APC for him. He's pretty bad in the current meta, but he's not as bad as some of the other heroes, so 2. Next up, we have Sven. Sven is kind of the tile guy. That's basically all he's used for. He's used for tiles at 100, and that's it. I mean, or like anything above like 80%, or probably anything above 50%, honestly. You're going to be using Sven. For that reason alone, Sven is a 3. Honestly, if you rate him a 4 just because of the tile, if you're a hardcore tiler, like you're rushing 16s, that's your role in your guild. Or your alliance, I mean, depending on the Doomsday, right? If that's your role and that's what you like to do, you really like to rush, you like to have high influence values, you like to be the first to 16s, the first to max out your buildings, then Sven's going to be huge for you. For max bases, it's huge because a lot of max bases are rushing for their assault fortresses, for their guardian fortresses, so they can just have 500 bazillion might. It's kind of like a bragging right at this point to have 1,000 might in your Eden season, and a lot of people do achieve it. Really, kind of the only way you can do that is with Sven. It doesn't matter if you have $1 bazillion. You're not going to be able to do it without tiling. So, Sven, 3 or 4, just depending on kind of how you like to play the game. And if you hate Eden, like you don't even participate in Doomsday, then Sven is a 1. Next up, we have Wanderer. 1, nothing else to say. He sucks. So, those are all the pools right there. I know this video is already 30 minutes, basically. So I'm actually going to stop the video. If you've caught up this far, thank you very much for watching. I hope the explanations have helped. And again, if you have more questions, I try to kind of deep dive into some of the more interesting heroes or interesting APCs here. Ones that I think will help you out the most. But if you have other questions on some of those other heroes, like, oh, I think Iron Sentinel is a 5, not a 2, or whatever. Actually, there's this crazy combo with Rose that's just killing everybody, and it just destroys Scorpion. Then let me know in the comments. I mean, if you find a combo with Rose that kills Scorpion every time, like, then, I mean, you're, cheers. Tell me immediately. But anyway, thank you for watching. I will do my pulls on a different video because I don't want people to have to sit through an hour and a half. So, catch you on the next video, I guess. Alrighty, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Good luck on your pulls. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Wake up, early mornings, late nights, hopping on a different flight. What's the meaning of life, ayy? Wake up, same-ish, different day. Make a wish, call it pray. Am I sick, am I okay, ayy? Stay up